Our main news this morning, Good Morning Britain, is about this little 12-year-old boy, the nicest kid you could meet. Just one of the many tributes happened, how it's connected to that it happened in, just coming out of school. Right there, because the catchment area... Yes. And I think called Olivia's Law, this proposed meeting, the Prime Minister, because she says it's taken too long. And she, Aunt Antonia, were very distressed this week because of pled guilty, so they knew he was going to be sentenced. So distressing to them that he might do the same thing.
Exactly right.
Not appear in court in the eye and tell him directly the devastating impact that he'd had. And there is no penalty at the moment to compel him to come.
Lee's fever, it does in the eye.
Because he was under the age of 18.
Yeah, that was
over the age
that was
of
my
18.
understanding, and it would.
Because I mean, an attack of this kind, if it had been committed by Axel when 18, a whole life sentence would seem the just never being released. I mean, there are only around 70 whole life prisoners who will be watching and saying, as they do, under the rules that the judge is constrained by, will mean that he will have a minimum term. We cannot throw our hands up and say... but in the case of this lovely boy, Leo Ross, we reported paid to Leo Ross. The 12-year-old was stabbed to death in the Hall Green area of Birmingham on Tuesday. His head teacher said Leo was funny, sweet and adored by his friends.
A 14-year-old boy has now been arrested on suspicion of murder. West Midlands police say that same 14-year-old had also been arrested in connection with an unrelated assault on a woman in her 80s on Sunday. Well, our correspondent Lorna Shattuck...
We'll discuss that further with Labour peer broadcaster Baroness Aisha Hazarika and the former Conservative Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng. Now, though, at 6:05, here's Kate with the rest of the day's news. I remember when we bought our house, and then, obviously, we just were so lucky that an amazing primary school was on the want to buy, aren't they? So, yeah, we didn't have to... Luckily, we were already blessed with being in the right place.
Luckily honest.
Yes. Right, it looks like the weather... Which you,
Thanks very much, Laura.
Thank you. Right, still to come on Good Morning Britain. The daughter of the murdered MP...
Well, we now know that 12.3 million people watched the conclusion of Gavin and Stacey on Christmas Day, which made that episode the UK's most watched scripted show since current records began. And as Stacey would say, that's lush.
Well, now, Joanna Page is going...
It's 7:46. Still to come, as the Southport killer...
Now, though, competition time. Lines close tomorrow. Here's Andy with the details.